Joining us now is former Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown. He is running once again for the United States Senate in Ohio. Congrats on your blowout victory tonight, Senator Brown. Donald Trump says the economy is roaring. Is that what you're hearing from Ohio voters? They can't get enough of this economy?
Well, Donald Trump saying that. John Husted, who is appointed by the governor to this seat, says the work ethic is broken. People should just go out and earn more. He said people are struggling or just don't know how to navigate the real world. I mean, he either doesn't care or he's not coming back to the state. He's not hearing veterans in Jackson, like I've heard, talk about this war. He's not hearing farmers in Crestline who have seen, you talk about gas prices, as the media often do. You don't talk as much about diesel prices and fertilizer, and it's planting season and farmers are getting killed. Diesel prices have gone up even more sharply. They're more than $1.50, most places higher than gas prices, and they don't know what to do. I mean, there's planting season and they don't have much choice, but they're getting hit really, really hard, and John Husted doesn't seem to care.
Well, Senator Husted has voted to allow Trump to continue his war with no oversight from Congress. Do you think Ohio voters agree with that?
Well, what I hear is they don't. He's had six times he's voted to continue this war. 3 of the 14 servicemen and women who were killed are from Ohio. Ohio taxpayers are literally have spent $1 billion in this war, that money that could go to schools in Cincinnati, or could go to health care in Gallipolis, or that could go to road construction in Toledo. Farmers talk to me about fertilizer costs, and their productivity will be less this year, as their markets have been shrunk or eliminated in some cases by Trump's tariffs. So they're saying that John Husted is not even talking. He's saying the war has actually gone better than he expected, or than people expected, which is ludicrous. But he's not addressing this. He's shown no interest in standing up on inflation, on any of this. But it's an expensive race. They're coming hard, and it's a hard state, as you know. I asked people to come to SherrodBrown.com and chip in $15 or $20 if they could.
Well, you're going to need that money, because your race will be one of the most expensive of the midterms. Your campaign recently released this TV ad about where at least some of Senator Husted's campaign cash is coming from.
Of all 535 members of Congress, who's taken the most money from associates of Jeffrey Epstein? John Husted, that's who. In fact, Husted's taken over $116,000 from one of Epstein's closest friends and co-conspirators, and last year took a maximum donation from him just weeks before voting to block the release of the Epstein files.
Senator Brown, what kind of response have you gotten from that ad so far?
People see John Husted as a special interest guy when he was in Columbus standing up for Wall Street and the drug companies and the utility companies. Now they see him as a special interest guy in Washington. They're also learning more about him. They're learning about his connection to an Epstein co-conspirator after taking well more than $100,000. They're hearing about his connection with a bribe where he's testified in court for a CEO for the defense in a case of a $61 million bribe to the Speaker of the House, who's now in prison, one thing after another. And the voters are learning a lot of things about John Husted that they don't like. And they also realize that higher gas prices, higher costs in the drugstore and the grocery store are laid at the feet and part of John Husted.
Ohio Democratic Senate nominee officially tonight, Sherrod Brown. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
John.